Let's do a little Carlton witch ramble and let's talk about who everybody can't stop talking about. Let's talk about Jack Silvagni. Let me tell you about Jack Silvagni from my perspective. He's somebody who is very driven, right? Always wants to be on the move, always wants to be achieving something, wants to know the ins and outs of everything, needs to know the information, needs to also be offered an opportunity to be able to help, right? To be able to give back, to be able to teach something, right? Now, that's quite challenging for somebody with his energy makeup because his relationship energy is somewhat authentic, somewhat a little bit hard to understand. He's probably felt a number of times throughout his life that the way that he does things is weird, that he's too different from other people, that people don't understand him. He's probably experienced a lot in relationships with people, and this just isn't love. This is like family sort of stuff. But in those spaces, he's likely to have been felt to be made to feel a number of times that like he's a bit weird, right? That people can't understand him. That's something he got from his family, right? So his family space made it, he was probably quite different to them, right? Now, interestingly, his emotional space, it feels a lot, right? There's a lot of feelings in there. He's quite absorbent to people's emotional space. And it is from whether or not he feels worthy of being nurtured that he decides what sort of a person he is. And you know, he probably experienced growing up, and I know that we all know his father. So the way that the child version of him experienced his father was very fiery, very driven, very masculine, right? Like there wasn't a lot of emotional kind of energy when it comes to the way that he experienced his father as a child. His mother, he experienced her as quite emotional. The way that his energy reads based on the map of his psyche is that he potentially had a mother who had too many feelings, who felt too much. So either was over the top with feelings and suffered with sort of emotional health issues, or like was very closed off, right? But loved him very much. Okay. And so it's like from that energy, he sort of has built an inner belief system, but it has to do with whether or not he's feeling worthy of being nurtured. And that worthiness of being nurtured, of being loved, of feeling like he is allowed to have success in relationship dynamics, and like if he's feeling in his worth, it comes a lot from whether or not he is in a position to be able to make somebody feel good, or help, or be able to help, be able to teach, right? So his inner rule structure, the way that he believes in himself, has to come from his own perspective. Like he can't have his mentality changed about himself unless he truly believes it. So if he's having a down day, if he is feeling like he hasn't worked hard enough, like he's doesn't appreciate his own skills, only he can change his mind. And for him to be able to change his mind, he needs to feel safe and loved and nurtured. So the way that his masculine energy presents is very fucking disciplined, right? Like that's what makes him so good at footy, right? He is direct, he will learn everything, and his masculine energy masters things. It's disciplined. It can create patterns and programs for him to be able to learn things. And that's why he's such a good footballer. So he has this fire of this, like, I'll learn from anything, right? Sagittarius energy will learn from fucking anything, good or bad. Good or bad. Sagittarius will shoot a fucking arrow into the future and it doesn't really care where it lands. Like it will have an idea of where it will want it to land, but that's not the point. The point is setting a goal and going towards it, because what you learn along the way is the actual point to people with his sort of energy makeup. And he will learn, good or bad, along the way. And so because of that, because he goes on this journey and his masculine energy and his motivation and how he gets stuff done is disciplined, grounded, does the hard work, right? So that can cause issues in relationship dynamics. And because his relationship dynamics and the way that he expands his life and the way that he changes and takes risks, both of those energies are this energy of authenticity, and it is the energy of being like a little bit of a weirdo, right? So he builds relationships with people authentically, one-on-one. So like you could be friends with him and you won't have the same relationship with him as another friend has. That's not how he does things, okay? It's like your relationship with him belongs to the two of you. And then he'll have another relationship with someone else, and that dynamic belongs to the two of you. He's not likely to be the exact same person with everybody, right? He's not likely. He is stable. Like he is somebody who you're friends with him because he's quite stable. He's somebody who can make you feel better. He's somebody who can make you, like if you're feeling down about yourself, he is someone who can uplift that, right? There's a dark quality to him that makes him like a safe person to go to and tell stuff to. And the other part of that is that like you feel safe to go and tell him, even though you know if there's a truth, he'll fucking tell you. Like people would be friends with him because he is tough love, you know. You wouldn't be able to kind of go to him and look for some kind of like placating your feelings, right? If you've done something, if you need to take responsibility for something, he'd be very fucking direct in telling you that. So when we're looking at Jack and we're thinking about what's going on in his life right now, it's particularly interesting, right? So he is someone who has like a family wound, right? An ancestral generational wound. And that involves a lot of traumatic energy, right? Potentially and it affects the parts of him that allow him to experience joy and allow him to kind of enjoy things and have let his inner child kind of run wild, right? He doesn't really have access to that kind of immaturity as easily as the rest of us. And that is because of this like trauma energy, okay? And, he has been made to feel a lot of guilt and shame about who he is as a person and how he relates to other people, probably because of the blunt communication style and because of his optimism and because of how hard he works and because of this kind of aloof kind of energy that from the outside you can't see how he has feelings, right? That's all this shell for him. Like he's someone who feels very deeply, but the way that we experience him is not through an energy that would allow you to see that part of him. If you were in a relationship for long enough with him, in a close enough relationship with him, you would get to see a slightly softer side of him. And most of that softness for him, it's internal. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about Jack and the current story that's going on, right, is he has this energy about him that fears but desires relationships, right? And this is because he's a healer. This is because of the blunt communication, needing to kind of build an authentic relationship with everybody differently. So it makes it difficult to be able to kind of get into the correct relationships, okay? Now, what's happening for him right now, what journey he is currently on, is the way that he builds relationships, changes his life, and takes risks right now is lit the fuck up in a powerful way. Those energies are power. The way he builds relationships is power. How he expands and takes risks is power. And how he completely changes his life and brings revolution is in power right now. Also, the other point of power is the family. So for him, the family name. So we're talking about someone who is currently being shown the way to their future through the lessons of the past. And his past comes with a lot of family trauma, okay? So he is experiencing this moment of wanting to expand and change and go towards his best career, his most aligned success. And things that are coming up that he is questioning is that past family trauma story, and is whether the relationships he's currently in are authentic, whether he feels like he is going to succeed. That's a huge part of this. His house of career right now is lit up. It is up for revision. It is asking him, where have you not let yourself shine in the workplace? Where have you been not allowed to let yourself shine? Where have you not put your full creative energy into the legacy that you're going to leave behind? That is the question that he is being asked right now, specifically about his career. And the parts of him that are being pulled in to answer that question are the relationship building parts, the taking risk parts, and the revolution parts involving the trauma from his family. So what the fuck does that mean? So what does that mean for him? Well, he is also having chaos force transformation, right? Chaos forcing transformation. So sudden things, unexpected things coming in to transform his life. Unexpected things like getting an offer from Collingwood, perhaps the enemy team of the family name. He is also being told to overcome and break family curses. You can call it whatever you want, but these past family traumas that impact his ability to have fun, where do you think they lie? Within the Carlton Club, do they not? So he is revising an inner rule structure that he needs to revise because he's being asked, he's at the start of this journey of like, what sort of a man do you want to be? What sort of a legacy are you going to leave behind? And as much as he is someone who is loyal, stable, and doesn't want people to be pissed off at him, and like he is the energied person where the worst thing that you can do for him do to him is upset his people, right? Like he's not that affected by what you think of him, but what you think of his friends, his people that he loves, what you think of them, that matters. That matters. So while he's loyal and while he is, he is somebody who wants to put in all of the work, he is being questioned right now on whether or not his career is going to let him shine, whether or not the relationships that he is currently building make him feel strong and powerful, on whether or not the risks that he wants to take to change his life, whether or not they will lead to success, is how he is questioning this. And because a part of the journey that he's currently on is seeing his future, right, through the lessons of the past, and his past involves family trauma, he's leaving. He's leaving. He has to be leaving. If he doesn't leave, he is going to be taught a number of lessons by the universe. And there is a small percentage chance of staying, but if he stays and Carlton do not change the internal energy of the club, there will be trouble. Most likely for him, the trouble will be an injury that takes him out. So the way that his energy lines up with what is fucking currently happening is, yes, he will be leaving. Where do I think he should go? Collingwood kind of works, right? Collingwood is about authenticity, right? It's about taking people and bringing them to success after coming from some kind of hardship or being let down. Like Collingwood's identity as a club, that's what they're for. They help people go on that journey. He is somebody who does need to be helped to bring out his authentic energy. There is a lot of trauma in that for him. So that does make it a match. There aren't a lot of other teams that I think he would match with because he is quite driven, because he is quite fiery. So he does need someone who has a little bit of order. And it's not that the Collingwood players have order, it's that their coach does, right? Craig is somebody who is very organized, right? And Craig is the same kind of energy makeup as Jack's most aligned groups of people, okay? So where he needs to heal a family wound, that can be helped by the energy of the Collingwood club. That is that authentic weirdo moving from the wrong side of the tracks into success. Even though he's not moving from the wrong side of the tracks, he is moving from darkness into success. And currently, with the way that the internal Carlton energy stands, that's not for him. And the reason that we have seen his frustration and we have seen him speak the way that he speaks when he has been playing is because he is somebody who is a blunt communicator and works very fucking hard and earns reward And we can see that some of the players have lost their spark and they're likely not trying very hard. And we can see this sort of energy, very similar kind of energy in Jacob Wiedering, who is also a similar makeup when it comes to needing to be able to teach people from having learned everything very carefully themselves. So I'm all for him going to Collingwood, to be honest, Jack. I think it's a really fucking good idea. And I would hope that the fans of Carlton can get on board with that, because we need to separate this idea of his name. We need to separate that from Carlton, because he is his own person and he wants his own career. And the chaos that might come from him having this revolution, that's for the collective, because for him, there is success, hard work. There is the right sort of people that will help bring out these qualities in him that can change the world, that can build relationships, that can help him take risks with the sort of person that he wants to do. It can help him heal family wounds in himself. With his father is a whole other story, but it can help him heal family wounds within himself and somewhat break whatever fucking family curse is attached to him. And I did a video when he first came back from injury where I said I couldn't see Carlton winning a flag with a Silvagni playing on the field for a number of reasons, one of which is that past family trauma or past family curse, whatever you want to call it. But I think it would be a good idea. And I don't actually think the current internal energy at Carlton deserves to have somebody like that. And I think the way that the Carlton club energy is currently moving, this is the sort of chaos that we can expect. Players whose name belongs, players whose family bleed blue. These are the players that are bringing the revolution. And I think Jack deserves that. And I think he deserves to be in a team of beautiful weirdos who love that he's a weirdo, who love how he does stuff, who put in as much effort as him. Because he is here to be someone who can help heal groups of people. That is part of the reason that he is facing this decision right now. Because in order to heal the community of people around him, as written in the map of his psyche, he has to heal himself first. So good luck. Good luck, Jack. And may the best team win your contract, my friend.